The law of human nature. Law 1. The law of irrationality. You like to imagine yourself in control of your fate, consciously planning the course of your life as best you can. But you are largely unaware of how deeply your emotions dominate you. They make you veer toward ideas that soothe your ego. They make you look for evidence that confirms what you already want to believe. They make you see what you want to see, depending on your mood, and this disconnect from reality is the source of the bad decisions and negative patterns that haunt your life. Rationality is the ability to counteract these emotional effects, to think instead of react, to open your mind to what is really happening, as opposed to what you are feeling. It does not come naturally, it is a power we must cultivate, but in doing so we realize our greatest potential. I bet you think that you have full control of your life. You think you're able to make rational decisions naturally. However, you are unaware of the emotions that control that actions that you choose to make. As humans, our actions and decision-making is largely governed by our emotions. This is natural in all humans, thus the first step towards rationality is to accept the fact that we are fundamentally irrational beings. Throughout history, many evolving species depended on instinct to survive. This evolved into the feeling of fear and individuation in animals. This is also apparent in the human brain. The human brain is comprised of three important parts: the old reptilian brain, which governs our instinctual and automatically actions, the old mammalian brain, which governs our emotions, and the neocortex, which governs our higher thought process. The whole ordeal of rationality lies between the old mammalian brain and the neocortex. Chemicals are released by the old mammalian brain that stimulate our arousal. It is when we try to translate these emotional processes using our neocortex that we encounter difficulties, since our emotions are abstract and often hard to express. This is what leads to our irrationality. We need to acknowledge this as a natural process that is occurring constantly in our daily lives. Rationality is the ability to detach oneself from our emotions and make choices based on the available choices given with a clear and calm mind. Recognition of these emotions can greatly improve our lives. The following are factors to look out for that can induce our irrationality. Step 1. Recognize the biases. Our daily decisions are heavily made by our innate desire to favor pleasure over pain. This desire is the biggest cause of our irrational decisions. It brings forth biases that cloud our irrationality and make us feel rational for the time being. The biases are: 1. Confirmation bias. I look at the evidence and arrive at my decisions through more or less rational processes. We often make a decision without realizing the emotion that lead us to it. We tend to look for evidence to further prove the validity of our decision. This is apparent in group projects or researches. We are given two choices to pick from and we weigh them equally, making our choice hard to make. Eventually we end up choosing the choice that we favor or we are slightly fond with. We make arguments, trying to veer the debate towards our view. Our views seem too good to be true. The only way to prevent this bias is to play devil's advocate, look for a view or choice that counters ours. This allows us to get a clear understanding of what decision to make. 2. Conviction bias. I believe in this idea so strongly. It must be true. We tend to hold on to a belief based on the intense feeling we've held on to it, to the point where we believe it to be true. We tend to go to the deep ends to prove our belief. When it all fails, we dig ourselves in a tunnel, holding on for dear life to that belief. We need to acknowledge the fact that all truths are but half-truths, and that all beliefs are just ideas with an emotion attached to it. All emotionally charged beliefs are not as big as they seem. 3. Appearance bias. I understand the people I deal with, I see them just as they are. We tend to attach certain qualities to people based on their appearances. When we see someone who is attractive, we tend to attach positive qualities to them. Likewise, for unattractive people, we tend to attach negative qualities to them. We need to understand that all people are not as they seem. Looks do not determine character. 4. The group bias. My ideas are my own. I do not listen to the group. I am not a conformist. We are often swayed by the emotional pull of the group and we are completely unaware of this. We tend to make these decisions as our own. When one person in a group comes up with a convincing idea, the whole group will follow without thinking it through, similar to the sheep mentality. When we find ourselves in a group, we need to take a step back and individuate ourselves in order to think through what the group has proposed or what they believe in. This will prevent you from being swayed by the emotional pull of the group and come up with better decisions. 5. The blame bias. I learn from my experience and mistakes. When things don't go our way, we tend to blame external factors, such as people, luck, or spiritual entities. We don't consider how our emotionally based choices may have led to the mistake. We need to take full responsibility for all circumstances that occur in our lives and realize that everything outside of us are never to blame. 6. Superiority bias. I'm different. I'm more rational than others, more ethical as well. We like to see ourselves as more rational and more ethical than others. But that just isn't the case, for if it was, we would have world peace. We need to realize that we are just as irrational as everyone else, for that is a human trait that exists within all of us. Have humility at times where our ego is inflated. Step 2. Beware the inflaming factors. We come across various factors that trigger an emotional response from us, automatically making us take irrational choices throughout our lives. Here are some of the common inflaming factors that we all come across. 1. Trigger points from early childhood. Traumatic event that we go through in our early childhood, like with an abusive parent or a tragic accident. 2. Sudden gains or losses. Sudden events such as winning the lottery or losing a loved one can trigger immediate emotional reactions. 3. Rising pressure. Situations where we are put under pressure can reveal our true character, as our emotional resilience is put to the test. 4. Inflaming individuals. Certain individuals that we come across can bring great emotional responses within us. Those people that always annoy you when you encounter them are examples of inflaming individuals. 5. The group effect. When caught in large groups, we will be pulled by the collective emotion and thought. This is common in religious gatherings and political events. Step 3. Strategies toward bringing out the rational self. Here are the clear and decisive strategies that one can take to cultivate our rational self. 1. Know yourself thoroughly. Have a grasp of who you are and the characteristics that you have. Notice your daily habits, patterns, and beliefs that you hold. 2. Examine your emotions to their roots. Recognize the most common emotional responses that you have in your daily life and try to find where do these emotions stem from. This can give you an understanding of what to look out for and how to mediate such emotions. 3. Increase your reaction time. Take a step back. Allow yourself to feel the emotions instead of oppressing them and let the rational thinking take over. 4. Accept people as facts. Avoid attaching certain beliefs to people and avoid trying to change them based on your own beliefs. Accept people for what they are and try to work with what you have. 5. Find the optimal balance of thinking and emotion. Don't let your emotions weigh larger than your thoughts. Same thing for your thoughts to your emotions. Learn to balance the two and you will be able to be present in the moment. 6. Love the rational. Learn to embrace being rational, for it is the guideline for having a more peaceful life. We may not have complete control of the circumstances in our lives, but by being able to have control of ourselves, we will be in the position to live a better life and make better decisions.